Hi, everyone. I'd like to take a few minutes to speak a little bit about melody. This will hopefully reinforce some of this class's material, which deals with that basic element of music. Melody is notes happening one at a time. So that means melody is pitch and rhythm coming together. To give you a demonstration of how this works, I am going to provide you with the rhythm to a melody which I'm pretty sure you would all recognize. Then I'm going to play the pitches of the rhythm for you, but not in the same rhythm, in a steady rhythm. So here's a rhythm. Try and think about what melody this might be. Listen. Okay, you can think about that for a second. Now I'm going to play the pitches that are performed in that rhythm to create that melody. But I'm going to play all of the notes with the same value. So you're only going to hear the pitches. And here they are. All right, give that a little bit of thought. What melody might that be? You've heard the two aspects of melody played separately. If nothing's coming to mind, I'll put the two together. So that is reveille. It's a bugle call. It's an example of functional music, music that was created for a specific purpose. In this case, communication. The message that that melody delivers is, it's time to get up. Reveille is played in the morning to wake up soldiers or Boy Scouts, that sort of thing. So that's a quick demonstration of the coming together of pitch and rhythm to create melody. So, to continue our discussion, I would like to spend a few minutes with the terms on the sheet for today's lesson. The first of those terms is scale, just a succession of pitches from which melodies are drawn. Here's a basic scale. All right, that's a major scale. It's got a nice upbeat sound to it. If you were writing happy music, you would probably use a major scale. This particular major scale begins on this pitch, which is an F. All right. If I change some of the intervals, the distance between the pitches inside of the octave between this F and this F, what I just played for you is a major scale. If I change a couple of the pitches in the middle, it's still an F scale. I'm still beginning and ending on F, but now it's an F minor scale. All right, that has a more downcast mood to it. There are many different kinds of scales. There's a chromatic scale, which uses all 12 of the half steps inside an octave. There's a blues scale. There are many different scales from other cultures. You'll hear a little bit of music played from different cultures in a few weeks that will use scales that are very different from the ones that we are used to. Going on, a phrase is just you can see a division of melody equal to a clause or a sentence of prose or about one breath of singing. A motive is just a short bit of recurring melody, and it's used as an element of form. One of the very important things about melody, in addition to it being one of the most recognizable aspects of music, we mostly identify tunes by the melody when we hear it. Even before hearing lyrics, we can tell from a melody what piece of music we're going to be hearing. Motives are used as an element of form, just the same as melody itself in a more basic way in popular songs is used to create form. Verses have melodies with changing lyrics. Choruses have the same melody and repeated lyrics. That's the structure or the form of almost all popular music. So a theme is just a recurring musical idea. It's a recurring bit of melody that creates form. Register is just a portion of a range of a voice or an instrument. I can play in the higher register of the keyboard, or in the low register. The notes that I just played would be the notes of a pentatonic scale, a 5-tone scale. Those are a couple of pentatonic scales. They are very commonly used in Asian music, as a result of which they're probably listened to by more people than any other kind of scales that are being played. There are 2 pieces of music that go along with today's assignment. I'd like to spend a little bit of time explaining about the way that motives can be drawn from inside of themes, the themes of these 2 pieces of music, to give the piece form, also to allow Ludwig van Beethoven, the composer of the second piece, to write a much more extended form. Using bits of melody taken from his themes gives him more options of the way that he can combine bits of melodic material to make a larger form. But first, a popular song that became a classic when it appeared in The Wizard of Oz, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. A very recognizable melody. You'll see it in 2 different videos. One, the original vocal performance from the film by Judy Garland, and the other, a semi-improvisatory interpretation of the music by the great jazz pianist Keith Jarrett. Now, everybody knows this melody, I'm very confident. There are 2 different motives that make up this melody, 2 shorter bits of melody that make the entire theme. If I play them without the other notes from the other motive, it would sound like this. So you can hear that those 3 sets of 3 notes have the same contour. There's a leap up, we cover a large interval, and then we come down by 1 step. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. So they have the same rhythm, and they don't have exactly the same pitches, but they have the same general direction of pitches, the same contour. The other melody once again, same motive repeated 3 times. The motives, the rhythm of the motives is drawn from the rhythm of the lyrics. Sometimes songwriters, a team of songwriters, a composer and a lyricist, sometimes the lyrics come first, sometimes the notes come first and the lyrics are applied to them. That's how this theme, which is part of an AABA form, you hear the entire theme, it's repeated, then there's different music, what we call a bridge, and then it comes back to that again, AABA. You'll hear that in both recordings. Now, the Beethoven uses the same scale, the scale that I played for you before, F major. That's the scale that Somewhere Over the Rainbow is based on. In Jarrett's version, it is the same scale that the first movement of Beethoven's 6th Symphony is based on. That begins that's the very first bit of music that you hear. Beethoven plays his theme, his opening theme for you immediately. All right? After that, he immediately begins breaking it into motives and playing them one at a time, playing them against one another, using the other elements, instrumentation, texture, the way it's harmonized, all of that. He uses the other elements to bring variety to the repeated statements of the motives that he takes from this theme. So, we have this one. Oops, sorry. That's a motive, and we have that's another motive, and that's the third one. So There are three components to this theme, three motives that Beethoven uses as sort of subsidiary building blocks. The entire first movement of this symphony is about 13 minutes in length. This isn't the only theme. There's a second theme that's introduced later on. He works with that in the same way. That's the way that he puts this all together, using not just the basic theme, but pieces of it, these motives. I hope this explanation is helpful. Please feel free to come back to this video if you're listening to this music and still having a little bit of difficulty making sense of it. That's why I've made this video for you all. I hope you enjoy the pieces. They're both really beautiful pieces of music, and I'll speak to you again very soon.